show. How are you doing today over there?
I'm doing good. Like we were just saying before the camera started, it's been a long time coming having this interview, and I'm glad we're
Hmm.
finally getting it done.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I first got to know you really well in my hometown of Toronto, Canada, when we were working the same independent. This was 7 years ago. We were babies, and it's crazy to think about how long I've known you, yet alone to see that growth. So, does it kind of feel amazing knowing so many of your dreams back then have come to fruition now? Because I remember sitting on those like banisters in the back of Smash and talking about all these aspirations we had when we were
Yeah.
younger, and they're happening.
Man, it's crazy. Sometimes when I think about, 7 years ago when I first started wrestling, the lofty ideas that I had, I feel like if I told myself then that they were gonna come true, I think I would have believed you. But to know that they would have come true in the fashion that they're coming true now, like how exact it's all coming about, like and like everything that I said is happening. And I think it's really beautiful and I feel very blessed for it. And I'm glad I had somebody, people like you, people like the Kevins, to get those ideas out to. Because I feel like if I never get them out, they would have never came true. So I'm glad I was able to get them out.
Who would have thought
So
seven
thank you
years
for
back?
listening.
Of course, of course. Still listening now, man. We were manifesting so much back then, and it's all happening now, all for a good reason. Those shows, those days back then, the crazy hustle that we were doing. And I remember being there for so many of your first ever matches in front of audiences and everyone in the back watching you, just saying so many different things like this kid is a natural. How does he get everything so easily? And I remember them saying that, and me being like, let me scope this out and watching and thinking, holy shit, like they're all right. So did you originally feel like things came to you as easily as it looked like they did?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is the people I surrounded myself with. I had great trainers, Brandon Thurston, Mikey Every Night, The Blade, Pepper Parks. I had great people that have showed me such a great wealth of knowledge from basically day one in wrestling. And then I was able to travel the roads of people who, had a little bit more experience than me. People like Kevin Blackwood, people like Kevin Bennett, and just being able to absorb knowledge from them. And then they would introduce me to people with even more experience than them, people like Tarek, Brent Banks,
Mm-hmm.
so I was just surrounded by a wealth of knowledge all the time. And if you don't get better around people with such great skill and such great knowledge, I feel like you're doing something wrong.
And everyone you just mentioned had such good hearts. I remember it being such a brotherhood, and I know I could reach out to any of those guys now with some of them years going by without having been in touch, and they would still be there for us. And there's
Yeah.
a beauty in that camaraderie that's really rare to find.
Yeah, I agree. I think those locker rooms back in the day were real special, super special. And I sometimes I sit back and like I miss those days. I miss like
Yeah.
driving home from London and stopping at A&W to get one of those little burgers and that, like I miss those days a little bit. It's
Oh.
definitely special nostalgic times.
Well, since we are speaking to camaraderie, before we get any further, I do have a guest question for you from a certain AEW name who found out that we were speaking today and wants me to ask you something
Mm,
on his behalf. And although I can't say exactly who he happens to be, I will say he does go by a few initials, if that helps you out.
okay. Yeah,
But
I get it.
these were his words, not mine, I would like to add. But the question is as follows. When are you going to grow up and put some fucking size on? Him, not me.
Man, that's a great question. I feel like if you watch every week, I think you see, my efforts to put size on, I'm working
Yes.
with Caesar Bonani now. He's a great trainer. He's got me on like a really good meal plan, and he's got me on a really good workout plan. And been seeing like a lot of really good natural progress in my body over the
As
past
have
few
I,
months.
man. Seriously.
It's Thank you. It's something that I want to continue to try over the next couple months.
It's cool because I've heard you say before when someone makes a comment like that, it's one of those things where you're like, all right, I'm going to do this and prove them wrong. So at the end of my career, they've got nothing negative to say about me. So is that still kind of the drive and the fire? That's the force.
Definitely. I'm not foolish. I know that I can work on my body. It's not something that I ignore. I'm not somebody who thinks I have no flaws. There's a lot of things I can work on. And I think one of the main things is looking more TV ready with my body. And it's something that, I think about every day. It's not something that's lost on me. It's stuff that, people remind me about it in the locker room, online. It's something that I hear constantly. And I think I think it's something that like I said, I'm working on, and it's something that I'm striving to get better with. And I just want to remove all the bullets from people's chambers. I think that's the verbiage I used to use back in the day. If people say, oh, he can't cut a promo. Well, I'm going to cut a promo so you can't use that as ammunition against me anymore.
Mhm.
Oh, this guy, he can't do comedy. Okay, well, I'm gonna learn how to do comedy so you can't use that against me anymore. This guy is skinny. Well, I'm gonna take that away from you now too. Everything is a work in progress. You know, we're not perfect people. I
Of
don't strive to
course.
be perfect. I think imperfection is what makes us all beautiful in our own way. And I feel like my dream body coming soon. We'll see. I also think from, an aesthetic standpoint, I feel like, times are different. And I feel like, a lot of the times I feel my target audience, the people that I like to impress, I don't think they like seeing like big, hulked up, beefy people. I think they want to see I think they want to see a lean, still in shape, muscular person that can throw a fit on, Every time that's my one thing. I never want to get too big because I feel like people who are too big, no matter what they wear, they always look crazy. There's not a jacked person on the planet that is stylish. Jacked people cannot put fits on at all. They have no style. They always look awkward in it. They look like a mannequin.
Okay.
So,
Like a mannequin.
yeah, I think people like Hook, people like me, I think that's the new wave of pro wrestling body types.
You had mentioned promos there, and I have to say that you already have one of the best in-ring comebacks of 2024, as you recently told Christian the following. You said, since you know so much about my dead father, how about you come down to the ring and I'll put you in the ground next to him. That is so dark, Daniel. I remember watching and just thinking, how do you not feel that conviction, that passion, and that fire that you have within? Because that is such a serious topic, get alone to take something so internal and share that with people. It was incredible. And you've channeled such an intense side to yourself and a confidence that's cool to see grow. So where do you kind of dig deep in order to find that confidence in yourself? Because there's a stark difference here, man.
Man, that was a cold line, wasn't it? That was a cold line.
It's a good
I
one.
feel like when somebody is saying such disgusting things to you that are come from a real place, when somebody is attacking your livelihood, is bashing your family, the people that you love, um, it can't help but come out. I feel like in those moments you either wither and you curl up in a ball in a fetal position and you get taken advantage of, or you come right back with everything you have. In instinctual primal fury and rage just comes out and you can throw it back at him. And I feel like that's what happened. I feel like in big moments like that, I'm somebody that, will never shy away from the smoke. I'll never shy away from the fire. I'm gonna run into it every single time. And I feel like that moment was a perfect example of that fury, of that fire.
Just speaking to that Rolodex of people we've watched you compete with, it's been seriously impressive lately. Everyone from your Adam Copeland, Strickland, MJF, Harwood, Roderick Strong. The list
Mm-hmm.
is insane. I know a lot of these are probably on the list that you had when you first started, and you're like, check, check, check. It's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many of those holy shit moments have you had since joining AEW and competing within this roster?
Man, an unfathomable amount I've had. I feel like I have a new I can't believe this is happening moment every single week.
Hmm.
And it's really such a blessing. I think that is a testament to the locker room that AEW has built. We have people who are legends. We have people who are current greats right now building their legendary status. And we have great up and comers too, who I'm also excited to get in the ring with. If I see I'm wrestling Lee Johnson, like that excites me just as much as it does seeing that I'm wrestling, MJF or Adam Copeland. I feel like that's just a testament to what AEW has built and the culture that we have in our locker room.
And a testament to how much you just love to get in there and wrestle.
Yeah, I
Seriously.
just love wrestling. You could tell me I'm wrestling a mannequin and I'd probably get excited.
Yep. Well, reflecting back to all those years ago to your indie days as an 18-year-old kid, did you ever think that you'd be known around the world and going viral for dancing?
Never. I
No.
never thought that would be a thing. I've said this before. I feel like there's a young lion dojo system in Japan, and you have to wear black trunks, black boots. You have very basic move set, and I feel like I never wrestled in Japan, but I kind of forced myself into a young lion system myself, where I had a basic haircut, I wore very basic gear, I did a very basic move set because I knew if I could get people to cheer for me and to get invested in me with the lack of any extra tag-ons or gimmicks or flips or anything like that. I knew they'd be invested in me as a person. And then I know that when I add on the extra stuff eventually, it'll be even bigger. So I feel like I forced myself into a young lion excursion, basically. And I feel everything that people used to come up to me and say, it would never be about my gear, it would never be about my body. It would always be, man, you're a great wrestler. That's the first thing that people had to notice about me. Like, you are a great wrestler. And then when I got to AEW, still like basic things, basic things. Then when I got in the thing with Jericho, I started doing the leather pants. I started to incorporate the dance, and now nobody comes up to me and tells me that the wrestling is good. Now everyone just comes up to me and says, "Man, I love that dance that you do." So I mean, it's really interesting. It's a stark difference on
Yeah.
what I envisioned myself being when I first started wrestling. But you've known me for a long time. I think anybody who knows me knows that dance isn't like, it's not like out of left field for Daniel Garcia as a person.
Not at
Like,
all.
it's something that's like very natural to me.
The amount of times we'd be in the back and music would be playing at shows and everyone would just kind of like have a little boogie or, like it was really playful and fun.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as we do see that serious side to you in the ring and the technical side, it didn't surprise me when you started getting over with these dances by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, it's not something that feels foreign to me, and I think if it was something that felt foreign to me and something that people didn't expect out of me or something that wasn't natural, I think people would be able to smell it from a mile away. But
For
I think
sure.
because it is something that is so, that is so natural to me, I think that's why people like it.
Well, other than the
Hopefully.
signature, they do. There's no hopefully here. They're loving it. But other than that signature DG thrust, what is your second favorite move to break out on the dance floor?
Man, I love dancing like Spanish music. Spanish music is my favorite. So
Yeah.
like I love bachata, I love merengue, I love cumbia, I love all that. But like I love dancing to like Afrobeat music. I was at a Burna Boy concert last night in your home city, actually Toronto.
Hell
So
yeah.
I was busting out some moves there.
Okay.
Maybe that's something you gotta tune into Isaiah Cassidy's vlog to see, my other dance moves. To see the catalog of Daniel Garcia dance moves, you gotta tune into Isaiah Cassidy's vlog. You can see some stuff on
Okay.
there.
All right. I love some cross promo for some good people.
Mhm.
All about it. Well, Daniel, I want to say thank you so much for coming on here, for hanging out. This is seriously such a long time in the making, long time coming, and I could not be prouder or happier to see everything that you're doing. So keep kicking ass, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. You've always been so kind to me, and I really appreciate everything you do.
Of course. To everybody watching, this has been the awesome Daniel Garcia. Be sure to check him out on AEW every single week and hit up aliciaatout.com for plenty more exclusive interviews and features. See you next time, guys.